Welcome back, everyone, to VALORANT Champions. Day 1 continues. Yeah, we get a first best of 3 between NA and EU. Ryan, it looked like Fnatic had everything closed up there until a few rounds in the second half.
Yeah, what attack pause that came out of Cloud9 towards the end. It was just one of those moments where what has made Cloud9 so good on defense is just how abrasive they are. They are the kind that fight you in the choke, in the front lines. They really don't want you to plant that spike because their retake's not as decisive. Just after that tap pause, the way that Cloud9 was still trying to play it, like they brought Leaf into it, he still sort of bottom fragged for his team. He had 15 kills in the end, 11 were on that defense, and I'm pretty sure the majority of those came in those 6 rounds in a row that Cloud9 won.
And Madman Mitch here, Tom.
Oh, he had one hell of a game. Both sides of the map playing the operator in the first, and then you sort of had his just ability to delay and hold on the sites. I think that's why in the streak towards the end, they had so much success being able to get back in after plants, was just because Fnatic were never really given any time to actually set up their plays, and I think he needs to be highlighted, Vanity needs to be highlighted as well, because I feel like not only their individual play was solid, but the utility that they used behind it was also incredibly strong.
Yeah, I really enjoyed watching Cloud9 sort of come back into that. Fnatic, it was down to a wire a lot of those rounds, like 1v1s, and I think just that experience and the fact that these guys are so clutch when it matters for Cloud9, it was that was really the difference. Like, especially the round that we saw a very quick exit coming out of Fnatic. They put the Viper's Pit down on A. The problem, I think, for Fnatic is usually, because the map's called Split, it's all about leveraging that Heaven control and then trying to go through A and B main. Fnatic did one or the other. They either all came through A main and tried to hold on to A lobby, for example, or they all sort of came through ropes together. It was never really both of them, so it was quite easy for Cloud9 to go, all right, I'm waiting for them here. Oh, no, they're all coming from that direction. And then they just sort of mowed them down on the way in. It's just, Fnatic didn't do enough to really put players like Leaf, who's playing on the A site, under pressure. And Mitch just ran riot because of it as well.
Well, as we try to make sense of everything and how we got to Fracture on map 3, let's send it over to Sean at the Telestrator Wall to give us an even deeper dive on that map.
Heyo, thanks, Riv. So this round is really cool. This is a round where Cloud9 actually had a lot of success on their attack side, and they used the style that has got them here. Very loose, giving their players individual freedoms. So what I want to draw attention to right now in the mini-map while we start here is all of this Killjoy utility that Fnatic has put in ropes. Now, the reason why they did this is because you're about to see a Viper ult in mid that's going to encompass almost all of middle right there. So the Killjoy utility is to make sure no one slips past and gets into ropes. Okay, so now when we play the clip, you can see Mitch on the attack side. His job is to hold this B push. We have the Astra in Vanity actually holding the Viper mid push. And this wasn't the plan initially until the Viper ulted. And you can tell this wasn't the plan because the turret is actually there to hold that push for Mitch. But since the Viper ult's down, Vanity's staying here, and you can see Mitch actually goes into this B pick. And the fact that he gets this pick is so massive for the team. So he puts an alarm bot down that's immediately destroyed. He gets the pick onto the Astra in the B site, which is Boaster. And you can see right away, this KO is all over it. Doma is very quick to rotate into this B site, but they are super aware that nothing is going to come through mid. So that keeps 2 Fnatic players on A. But the pivotal part here is Mitch goes back towards B, drops the lockdown, and you can see the respect that has gotten actually out of the Raze over here. So the player has come into Heaven, which then opens up the entire site hit right here for Cloud9. And as we fast forward, the round gets very sketchy, and Zeta makes another massive individual play to close out the round. So you can see his Rolling Thunder right here. He's just waiting to time it. Unfortunately, it catches Vanity, but this Rolling Thunder bought tons of time, and you can see he ends up stalling in the site. Right here, he swings, and he is going to get that frag. And you can see he's positioning now for the site, and he ends up using his Aftershock and Fault Line perfectly. So this Fault Line actually tags Magnum. The Aftershock also tags Magnum, who then jumps into the elbow position and is taken out by Zeta. This is just such a good mid-gamey round by Cloud9 and really shows Vanity's strengths as an in-game leader, giving these players such freedom, right? So I can't wait to see how they play on Fracture. Riv, back to you.
Ayo! That was a great breakdown. Thank you so much, Sean. And I think it shows something pretty pivotal for C9 is that on their defensive first round, they were across the map almost immediately. Like, it shocked Potter. Like, wait, they're just pushing. And when they lost that, it felt like they played reactive to Fnatic the whole time, which means you're a step behind. Once they started to put the op in their hands and
bring it up,
they were able to take split. But now it's Fracture.
So excited.
And we are going to see how it plays out for both teams. Is the Killjoy a big play? Do we see the Sentinel switch to Cypher so flank watch isn't that great? Do we get breaches? Gentlemen, what are you thinking?
I mean, from Fnatic before, we didn't see a breach.
Right.
Again, like, considering we saw Split in the same tournament and it was a very different look in the end for Fnatic, I do feel like what we saw before, at least from this team, isn't going to evidently be the same. Cloud9, I think both teams would have preferred to have kept their Fracture close to their chest for teams like Vision Strikers, but now we need to see what they've been prepping.
Yeah, I think that the whole tournament last time Fnatic were playing was almost like a meme tournament. Like, there was quotes of Boaster saying that Doma would never be able to play Reyna, and in some of the maps he was playing Reyna. So honestly, I'm just excited to learn how these teams are actually going to be playing this map, because as you said before, we've seen like almost the game of Killjoy Chicken. Like, okay, are we going to play the breach to counter the Killjoy lockdown, or do we just not play our own Killjoy because we think they're going to have a breach? Like, there's so many counter picks that were coming through in the early stages of this map, and we don't know if that's just going to be some teams testing it in third-party tournaments, and if they have a whole new thing for the VCT, because as of thus far in the VCT, it's not really been played.
Absolutely, and we get to see, I'm so excited because we get to learn from the players what their base pushes feel like. Is somebody always taking Satellite? Is that a Cypher Cam spot? You know, where's the information gained on such a big map that does require a bit of pre-rotation or a leaner to be there in time to be able to circumvent what your opponents are throwing at you? I cannot wait. I assume we'll see the Viper somewhere. A lot of the walls are huge across the map, and right now with the way C9 and Fnatic have been playing, I'm expecting to see ops as soon as possible, gentlemen.
Yeah, maybe. I think there's a lot that you can go towards when it comes to direction of this. Like, for example, Astra versus Brimstone. Like, it would be really nice to see an NA-EU matchup where the Brimstone's used from the EU team. Like, that just sort of complete it. And I really don't think that this is going to be the first and only NA versus EU matchup this tournament, right? But it's just the fact that both these teams are intelligent, they have great adaptability, and a map like this is purely VALORANT. You're not going to find a map like Fracture in any other game ever. It's completely unique to this kind of game, and I think that benefits Fnatic because they're not CS players that copy and paste like their fundamentals. This is their playground. It's whether Cloud9 can move away from the very de facto way of playing old tac shooters into something completely different.
Yeah, one of the things I've always liked about Vanity, though, is that his meta play has always been incredibly good. I genuinely think V1 did as well as they did previously because of his lean into the meta. The difference is now there is no meta for this map. He has to create one. So that's going to be the difference, because that's what we always credited Fnatic with. They created the bind meta and people adapted off it. Have they created the meta here, or have C9 got a good read on the situation? Because although we're going in relatively blind, a lot of these teams will have been scrimming. They might have seen things that other teams did that they like the idea of and stole from someone else. We don't know who the creators of everything we're going to see today will be, but we will find out.
It was FPX.
If they, yeah, exactly.
All the time.
They've been learning from Angel all along. But no, but it's one of those things where realistically both teams could come in with the identical comp and we know that, okay, this is what everybody's been doing, or it could be polar opposites and we'll learn on the day.
I don't even think it's just comps, it's just tempo. Like, I think that's what made Gambit such a good team at Berlin, especially on maps like Vine,
fluid tempo.
It's just like, we're going to slow this game right down. Like, you have to play to, like, it's just, you have to match to our beat. I think that's the most important thing of just, both these teams have struggled. They can like go 6-0, 7-0 down in a half and then come back to bring it to overtime or to win 13-11. I do think that these first few rounds, the pistol, the bonus, the full buys once we get into it, it's whoever sort of dictates that pace, whether it's going to be very European slow or whether Cloud9 just absolutely send it each round. And Fnatic are suddenly having to rush their tempo of play. I don't even think it's just comps, it's just how quickly do both of these teams want to do what they want to do.
One of the things I will say that could lean heavily into C9 is I think that Vanity's mid-round calling is second to none. So realistically, in a map where things are new, things are adaptive, he could have the lead in this one.
Prime Gaming Agent Select, gentlemen, what do we see on Fracture? The breach is there. A Killjoy versus a Cypher as well. And a Sky on one side. Very different compositions we're seeing.
It's both raises, actually, that I'm quite intrigued by, because I know that initially when a lot of people saw the map, that was never going to be a thing. People were like, oh, there's nowhere to really blast back off of. It doesn't look like the greatest map of all time for this agent. And both teams pulling it in, no jets either.
Yep.
I'm excited for it.
That's the only change from this Fnatic come from home ground. It's just Durka moving away from the jet to the Raze, right? So everything else is the same. I really like Mystic's Astra. Like, that was genuinely like, I really like how this is a good approach to the map overall. I'm really excited to also see Zeta's Breach. Just, we've seen so much clutch Breach today, especially from Vision Strikers before, and he has been like the foundational point. If he goes down, the whole thing falls down with Cloud9, but him and Vanity just holding that backline, holding that structure, yeah, that's tough to break.
Well, both teams refuse to lose. Let's send it over to Doug and Potter. Take us home, you two.
Woo, baby, it's game time. We talked about the series being good. Now we talk about the map being good. And there's a wealth of things to talk about. But I want to ask you about this one first and foremost, Potter. Killjoy, Cypher, Fracture. What are your thoughts on those?
Oh man, there's so much to discuss all week long since I arrived in Europe. I've been hearing about the fact that Killjoy Ultimate, it just gets countered by Breach. Look at the flashes on Cloud9's side. They've got a Sky, they've got a Breach, and I wouldn't be surprised if either Zeta or Leaf's entire role when the Killjoy ult goes down is to chain those flashes together so that Breach can't have the line of sight to use that grenade to break that Killjoy Ultimate. We'll see though what Cloud9's game plan is, but I'm telling you, there are so many flashes in the server right now on both squads. Everyone's gonna be blind.
Fnatic on the attack. All right, they've already dropped one. Certainly not the start you were looking for. And yeah, Boaster, a bit early to use that Viper spin. It's not online quite yet. But the spike has made its way back towards B, and Magnum's creeping his way around looking for more. Good start.
Definitely a good start, and this has kind of been Fnatic's bread and butter across this entire series, across all three maps, is this default, slowing things down, utilizing that teamwork, ping-ponging off of each other, and finding those picks. Solid defense so far.
Are they gonna flip out?
Oh, Boaster!
You see this spike? Okay, it's committing back to B. They had to try to take care of, who is that? Mitch, who was playing around. Still hasn't fully committed yet. They just want to frag this out, Potter. They're not comfortable on getting the spike done yet. That might have been what opens the door for him. Yeah, at this point, you're in a 4v2. Magnum looking to get the spike down. Does. And Zeta's left alone. We talked about the breach on this map. How good it can be, but when you're this outnumbered and then you've got the Killjoy, or excuse me, the Viper utility you have to deal with as well, that's not what you want to work through. Fnatic win the pistol.
Yeah, and you know, if Fnatic keep this sort of pace up all throughout this last map of this series, Cloud9 are gonna struggle. Because you just saw it here in this pistol. Once that contact happens, when Fnatic stop the pace, they stop the hit, they just cut noise and wait for Cloud9 to make the next mistake, it's Fnatic who's usually coming out on top of these sorts of slowed down rounds. So definitely for Cloud9, I think they're gonna have to revisit and recollect themselves, because for them, they're so used to just scrappy in-your-face fights and duels all across in NA.
And my guess is they're going to get the chance at plenty of that. We're already seeing some of that happen towards Satellite. Magnum getting the best of both Mitch and Zeta there, just like ripping their heads off.
Yeah, and just a slap in the face. He even picks up the orb as well, just to kind of prove his point there. And that should be the site going down. Sure, Leaf, he's got a classic. Maybe he can make this one interesting, but nah, he gets taken out as well. Zeppa's going to try his hand at it as well, but that's clean for Fnatic. Look at their HPs as well. Barely a lick of damage except for on Magnum.
Yeah, Prime Gaming Flawless coming out there. You talked about how it might be interesting. It wasn't. There was no drama. There was no thriller. There was no edge of your seat.
Yeah.
No, it was as basic as it gets. But as we talk about the map, basic is kind of what you want, right? Like, win the rounds you're supposed to win. Get your way through those. More often than not, that should take care of you.
Yeah, exactly. Basic. Simple is always a good go-to plan, I think. We'll see how simple this bonus is going to look for Fnatic, as Cloud9 have a full buy coming to this third round. A lot of patience. I think that was missed. All good though. Boaster's going to pick it right back up.
It's our first time on the map.
Yeah.
Right, in an
Gotta
official.
warm up into it a little bit.
Yeah, these things happen. But now they've got things how they want. At least it certainly seems that way. You talked about this being their bonus. They do just have Spectres the entire way, but they're working their way over towards A. Leaf could be a problem. Look at the defensive setup out from Cloud9.
Mitch. He gets taken out. He's only good for the one, but backup is here. Leaf, he's trying his hand at defending as well. Him and Zeppa. The Puggy duo. They've slowed down Fnatic's initial hit, though. But if we think back on Pistol, this is kind of how it looked for Fnatic.
Yeah. And you talk about how they slowed down the initial push. They're continuing to slow it down, but now Fnatic's starting to find a bit more room to breathe. Mystic
Oh, no, Fnatic
is able to take care of one, drop things down to a 2v2. The spike is sitting on the site, on A, with nobody really anywhere near it. Magnum was the only one that was close. It's all going to fall down onto Mystic. Somehow has to get onto the site, pick up the spike, and then either frag out or plant it, and then stay alive long enough for it to go off. Okay, first box checked, right? You got the spike. Great. How much more can you do? Dropping a bit of util with only 13 seconds left. They're going to have to do something here soon as members of Cloud9 continue to push
Oh my God!
freaking way!
Wait.
He gets it, but Vanity swings out! That was borderline knife's edge of going
10
horribly
HP,
wrong.
dog. 10 HP. Timing is everything in this game. Just a split second, and Fnatic win that round. It looked almost impossible. Vanity somehow gets a 180, lands on his feet, and he's good for the spray. 10 HP, Doug. That's all that's separated in that round.
That could have gone absolutely sideways, right? You talk about a new map, you talk about the economy implications of being up 3-0, of winning the bonus, of really being able to roll things into additional rounds and snowball your way through this. It could have been, I mean, it could have been lights out. For Cloud9, that could have been very bad.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. Mitch, he's going to take a little bit of splash damage. He does take and back away a little bit. He's got the backup in Leaf and Zeppa. Oh,
It
good
hurt, though.
damage. Yeah, Mitch is getting bullied in this round. His turret even gets taken out as well. Cloud9,
What? Poor guy.
they're about to get pinched.
Even the Nano Swarm does get a chance to do
Oh, that
something.
sucked.
Magnum swings down. Zeppa drops. And the spike now, we see it starting to rotate out. It may go back towards B. They have so many options. They have so much control. Fnatic are just kind of rolling through what Cloud9 have set up here.
Yeah, Fnatic are doing such a good job at just slowing down the pace, finding the duels, finding the frags that they want on their terms, and then they just slow it down. Relaying information back and forth with each other. The spike will go down. Domo will finish out the round. And that's almost a flawless round coming in here for Fnatic. And it was just to the point. There wasn't a lot of different layers, a lot of misdirection and seesawing like we see across most of the maps in VALORANT. This was just slowing it down. Just poking and prodding, making sure you get the information across. Of course, you're winning those duels, and that definitely helps things out. But either way, Fnatic, they seem to just be taking it slow, and it's working.
Slow and steady, winning the race, at least for now. As we see another Prime Gaming Flawless coming through, Fnatic have a comfortable lead here, and you're already seeing Cloud9 kind of have to adjust. And that's the thing I was kind of alluding to earlier, Potter, right? Because it's a new map, because you don't really know what to expect, you could easily like get sucker punched, right? And then get dazed. You don't know up from down, you don't know left from right, and all of a sudden you're looking at a 9-3 half going, what the heck just happened?
Yeah, exactly. And not to mention, even what's worse is the fact that both regions in NA and EU view this map so differently. It couldn't be further from different. I mean, EU completely views this map, generally speaking, as an attack-sided map. In NA, everyone thinks it's a CT or a defender-sided map. So definitely those kinds of differences, I feel like you're already seeing it, right? I mean, Cloud9, a little slow to the start, but Fnatic, their attack, it's looking strong right now. It's looking like they've got a good default under their belt, and that can be so dangerous, especially if you don't have all the little nitty-gritty details placed out on the defenses of a brand new map.
It's the little things, or so they say. Cloud9, certainly not the start they were looking for. Back to pistols, Leaf the one exception. They do have really almost all of their ultimates very close by. Zeta's the one who's furthest away. But Leaf, Mitch, really everyone just on the precipice of bringing that online. And for Fnatic, you may not be as close, but you got guns. And guns seem to be exactly what the doctor ordered as Cloud9 again kind of fall apart. That goes as expected. A Prime Gaming Flawless as they really just kind of mow over Cloud9.
They mow over them, and that was Doma that was stunned, blind, and had 4 targets in his face. And, you know, look, it's just an eco round. It's not all that hype, but these sorts of feel-good rounds, these sorts of ego stroke rounds in the 3rd map in your opening series at Champions at the end of the year, that's gonna mean a lot. That's gonna mean a whole heck of a lot. So for Fnatic, that's a fantastic, clean, anti-eco. For Cloud9, I mean, we've got the Killjoy ultimate coming online.
Yeah, and that's where we see some of that duel that we were talking about earlier, right? Like, yeah, you've got the lockdown. Doma has that Rolling Thunder as well, so we see some of... I'm really interested to see how this will play out. Doma and the rest of Fnatic currently have some options, but right now it seems like a heavy lean towards B, and there it is, right? This is what we were talking about. How do they play off of that? There's the Rolling Thunder. Stuns up Leaf, but he doesn't move, but the gun may have given him away. Yeah, there it is. Durka swings out, cleans him up. Mystic getting in on it as well. Fnatic have full control of B. The remaining members of Cloud9 have to show up and somehow fix this mess that they find before them, where they have no control of anything. You've got Cosmic Divides coming out as well. See if that can be the entrance as Zeppa and Zeta left alone in a 2v4. Not a ton to work with. Not a lot of time before them either.
Yeah, this would have to be a monumental screw-up from Fnatic for them to throw this one away. Cloud9 at this point are just looking for damage control. Maybe a kill here or there, but Fnatic are so disciplined at this point that this should be a dub. Hopefully, Cloud9 are able to at least save their guns. I mean, you can see the Astra on some sort of a weird flank here. Hopefully, Zeppa's ready for this, because...
I do like that from Fnatic, though. I like how they approach that. It wasn't just, and this is where you see confidence come through. How often do we talk about confidence in Valorant? I know it's like, yeah, we get it. Confidence is a big deal. Maybe a little bit. But it really does show in moments like that.
Yes.
Right? You have a 4-2 lead as far as personnel goes. You've got the spike down. And you could easily, a lot of teams in that situation, they don't go hunting.
Yeah.
Right? They're just like, yeah, we got what we want. Let's just take the rifles in the next round. But they go for the jugular.
They do go for the jugular. Speaking of jugular, Doug, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Cloud9 doing some sort of crazy aggression shenanigans off the rip. We've got the Breach Ultimate online. We've got the Showstopper. And as I say in NA, man, we sometimes think this map is very defender-sided, and it's because you can be so aggressive. You know, we think about Fracture. Both teams started middle. Right? It's just so different than any map we have in Valorant. That's so much damage. Durka, with the assistance of Breach and Astra, finds the opening on Mitch, and Leaf, he's stuck in the site right now.
Now, and this is not a full light buy, right? Like, they've got a mixed buy here. They do have 2 rifles. Mitch has already dropped, so I only say that to say this doesn't have to be a full roll.
God, the stinger.
But it seems like it's going to be that outcome anyway, as Cloud9 once again find themselves in a 2v4, this time with a frenzy. Zeta's gun gives him away. We've seen this movie before. As Vanity's left alone, the wheels very well may be coming off this bad boy.
Oh, I hope not, man. Vanity, he finds a frag for himself. I will say that when you see the stingers coming out to play, that's questionable. There's a lot of actually debate about, don't do it to him, Boaster. Come on now, that's your boo thing. That's your boo thing. Oh my God, he's done it. Wrap it up.
Yep, we talk about potentially the wheels coming off this thing. That might have been it. That might have been it.
Oh boy.
That might have been the brush stroke that sends this thing out.
That one hurts. Yeah. That one hurts me. That's, well. Oh, and that stinger, it did a little bit of damage, but man.
Do we really need to see this again? I'm just curious, right? I was just wondering if we needed to,
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. I hope Boaster tweets it out of Vanity after this series.
He might have already done it.
Yeah.
Given how this map is going, he might be able to do it mid-map.
For real.
Fnatic up really big. And everything is just going their way. And now they have 3 ultimates to their name. Yeah, Cloud9 have 3 of their own. You see the Showstopper coming out. Zeppa, aggressive! Not able to get anything. He had 2 right before him, right in his crosshair. Doesn't land the shots. Durka does. And that's a prime example of how the map has gone. right? Things just seem to be working for Fnatic and they don't for Cloud9.
Yeah, and as you're saying that, even Vanity's chasing down Mystic, swatting across the map, and Mystic survives with just 6 HP to his name. Just one thing after the other. Zeppa's rocket fails, but then Durka's hits.
Okay.
Maybe this trade will start the ball rolling. Spike still hasn't gone down yet, Doug. It's going down right now.
Well, Vanity and Mystic are both so weak in this situation. Got to keep an eye on both of those because this easily becomes a 2v2. You mentioned the spike goes down. And Cloud9, you've got an interesting approach at this retake. You've got Mitch working his way towards mid. Then you have Zeppa and Vanity coming in from Satellite. And they just kind of rotate around each other, right? You see the remaining members of Fnatic pulling off that way, giving some of that space up so that they can approach it the way they want, at the pace that they want. Mitch drops.
Paint chills.
It is a 2v2, as predicted. I read the script ahead of time. But both Vanity and Mystic both still alive. Vanity on the tap. I don't know that they can get through this. There are so many good defenses coming out, but Zeppa's got to land these shots, and he does. Magnum falls. Cloud9 just barely, with less than 2 seconds to spare, gets to 2.
They needed this round, Doug. They needed this round so badly to just kind of at least somewhat put a bandage on the bleeding, because, man, if Fnatic were to run away with that round, this snowball, I don't know what could have stopped it. So certainly for Cloud9, that is a breath of fresh air. They can have a little bit of breathing room, perhaps, coming into this next one. But Fnatic, their defense, man, their attack, rather, it's something else right now.
It is, but these are the signs of life that that needed to be shown from Cloud9. We'll see, as you mentioned, if this is the turning point. This is where they can get back into this thing. Because given really how things have gone, if you find yourself in a 6-6, 7-5, it's an excellent turn. And Zeppa, yes! The gravity well, the shots are there as well. Perfect!
I also appreciate the fact that you saw Zeppa, you know he wanted to go in there. He dropped the satchel, he wanted to go party, but he second guesses, he plays a little bit conservative. That's nice. Durka's gonna go in though, just delivering himself and the spike into Mitch's lap. It's all down to Doma. He's got quite a bit of util, but he's definitely not gonna wanna just waste it just for himself. Mitch cleans that up, and that's a fantastic round for Cloud9, all things considered. I mean, Zeppa finally showing up big, doing things and closing off his side of the site. And that's what he's known for, right? He's very good at those small choke points. He's ballsy, Doug. He does not back down from a fight.
You see it one more time. Yes, it was off of the gravity well. It certainly helped things out.
One enemy remaining.
I'm not quite sure what that lad was going for there. He wanted to go, though. He wanted to go real fast.
A little bit ambitious. A little bit.
Ambitious, yes. Where do things go from here, though? Because for Cloud9, they've won the last couple of rounds. Yes, we're seeing some of this turn, but Fnatic have just shown so much excellence on this half of the map.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest point, right, Doug, is that Fnatic, they don't really have to change much. They've found the successes, and it's been in their default. It's been in the map control. Durka, he's good to find the opening, and all of Fnatic, they're kind of meeting back up towards B. They're congregating, and the hit is in.
We've seen this setup. The Rolling Thunder comes through onto B, and they're able to follow up around it. That's exactly what they do, and they find really everything that they want before them. Another Prime Gaming flawless. Durka gets 3 on the round, and they get the money from the spike setup. That was pretty.
That was pretty, and that was worrisome. That was pretty and worrisome. If you looked over on the bottom right there, Fnatic, they all had 100 HP. I don't know that any of these members on Fnatic took a lick of damage in this round, and that's just not what you want to see if you're a Cloud9 fan.
Is there a flawless? Like a perfect
we
flawless? We need to come up with something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flawless Prime Gaming.
Rolls off the tongue. Fnatic find themselves back towards their winning ways. Cloud9 still had a shot to get to a respectable scoreline at half, but there's still plenty of work to do. And the good thing for Cloud9 is they do have a couple of ultimates to work with. The op shot narrowly missing out for Mitch, and those were shots that we were watching him hit earlier in the series.
Yeah, just a little jiggle makes Mitch whip that shot there, and I gotta mention the Killjoy ult again. You know, we opened up this map with the differences of Cypher and with Killjoy. We've got the Breach ultimate in play as well for Cloud9. This is a round that they're not gonna want to try to save. They're gonna go for it. All their eggs are gonna be in the basket of this round here.
And they have to, right? I don't know that they have much of a choice. You see Boaster's Viper's pick comes out. Magnum looking to get the spike down, should be able to do so. Now Cloud9 can approach us from the retake. Excellent start out from Zeppa, the Rolling Thunder clearing the way, and the Showstopper to boot. But is there anything there? Yes, Durka cleans up Zeppa. Fnatic are starting to snatch the site right back. Oh, Vanity, you saw that.
Oh,
Boaster
no.
takes care of him.
Vanity.
Mitch has the op, though. He's still in this 1v3. No knife. Out comes the same, though. Mitch still has a chance at this thing. This would be very difficult. And it's not possible this time. Fnatic get to 8. Cloud9 looking rough.
It's looking real rough out here. Holy moly, Doug. Look, in that round, if we go back and look, Vanity, he just needed a split second longer. A split second longer, and that's a free B kill.
Yep.
The detained comes in. Look at that. Ooh, Fnatic. Mitch makes his Killjoy ultimate come through. The retake a little bit early, a little bit wonky, not on the same page, and that's Fnatic converting another one. Didn't you say as well, Doug, in the beginning of this round that a 3-9 half? Is it? I
don't remember if I did, but it makes me sound smart if I say yes. So
it does.
yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Second Showstopper coming out. Zeppa gets right into Magnum's lap. Cleans him up, but it wasn't easy, as Zeppa's just down to 9 HP.
A nice heal coming through. That's a homie right there. Top off Zeppa. Oh, okay. Here it comes.
That worked.
Yeah,
we got there eventually.
We did. And for Fnatic, you know, even though they're down a man, this is where we've kind of seen Fnatic shine, is when they have the map control, when they just shut down all noise. And Cloud9 generally gives them a way back into the round. So we'll see how disciplined these Cloud9 guys can be in this round. But
well, and I wonder if discipline's really going to be the deciding factor. I mean, they have Spectres, and some of them have light armor. Zeppa doesn't have any. Okay, that was excellent. That was exactly what you needed. And Zeppa gets greedy, he gets aggressive, he gets 3 on the round, and the spike is sitting up in no man's land. Mystic has to go up, pick it up, and manages to do so. But now he's left alone. 1v5. And this would be something.
Oh.
Okay. That would have been something.
That definitely would have been something. And being something, speaking of something, Cloud9 are at least able to get the last round of the half and get a 4th on the board. I gotta say, Doug, when you're down, 3 sounds much different than 4. I mean, I know it's just 1 round, right? But when you're on the other side of things and you're looking into that second half, having that 4th, it's gonna mean a lot for Cloud9.
It is. I did predict an 8-4 half at the beginning of the broadcast. We're gonna throw it over to the desk to break down the first half, fellas. Enjoy.
I mean, we can stay over there if you guys want. You're so good. What a first half coming out of Fnatic. Honestly, they came out firing. Cloud9 seemed to just be turned over and not even understanding what's going on. We saw them outside the site the whole time. The times they tried to get in the site, Fnatic was just railing shots on them. What do they do?
I think a lot of the early rounds, it looked like they were almost a little bit flustered. Like the amount of times they were getting pincered when they were on the A site, like looking the wrong way, caught out by a gravity well, or even just some cheeky plays out from Boaster using his poison orbs. Like I feel like all in all, compositionally, Fnatic look like they've got the better read, at least at the moment. But also some of the players that we highlighted to perform, like the of Leaf, that's not a scoreline you ever want to see on one of your sort of star players. And also Mitch, who was such a strong performer in the last map, it just looked like he was a little bit uncomfortable. Some of the ultimates that he was using never really put Fnatic in any awkward spots. So they were just allowed to do what they want, Ryan, in the afterplant, and it didn't really work.
All of the things, like you pointed out, one of the rounds of Rolling Thunder and a lockdown came in, like I think round 11 it was, and just even then Fnatic still dominate in those positions, and Cloud9 are the ones that like to face the choke to maybe even push a bit more aggressively. You got Breach and Sky Utility, push into the attacker's spawn, catch them by surprise, but there's so many different places that Fnatic could be at the start of a round, and especially up towards B Arcade, it's probably the least common area you see players in, right? Because for beginning, it was just the toxic screen that goes across. You can see it on the mini-map. And it keeps
Every
that pressure
map.
there. Yeah,
Every
time.
map it's Durka highlights, but I
Over
can't
and
really
over.
blame production for doing that at this point. He is just having one of those days where he is just unstoppable, and I think it can be very, very difficult to play against. What I will say is I agree wholeheartedly with what Ryan said, because I think most of the success we saw on the defensive side came out of Zeppa's aggression.
Right.
The way he was able to
Just doing
work with
Zeppa
the
stuff.
showstopper, finding those opening kills, but it was blips on the radar of Fnatic rather than a hugely successful defense.
It says a lot that so many of those rounds were flawless for Fnatic as well.
Yeah.
Like, it's sort of on the first 2 maps, it was all right. They won this round, but they lost players, and it was a bit awkward. And this time, it just felt like a masterclass. I really need to see the defense. Like retakes is going to be a thing. It's something that Cloud9 struggle with. Fnatic have to do better with that.
All right, let's get the second half underway. Back to Doug and Potter.
Thank you, Riv. It just occurred to me why things are going sideways, and it's because we have 2 Europeans on the desk. So the majority's their way.
Yeah.
If we had another North American, this would be an entirely
Of
different
course.
story, right?
Of course. It was right in front of us. Simple explanations. Always comes back down to that. We're starting the second half strong here. Well, we're about to start it strong, hopefully, anyway. Some frenzies coming out to play here for Fnatic.
And I like the setup. We're seeing more of this where you get somebody, a ghost or something like that, something more than a classic, and you're able to buy up armor as well. A little bit of reallocating of funds to
Nice little
allow
raid
that
boss.
to happen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it a little bit more difficult. And the thing is, on the side of Fnatic, they don't have that same setup.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you pointed it out, especially because it's on the back of Leaf, right? I mean, he's had a bit of a slow game. It'll be nice for him, especially individually, to kind of warm back up into this, hopefully. But 2 members of Cloud9 have already been taken out. Zeppa all alone. He finds a potential duel, but he's not good for it.
This is not the start that Cloud9 needed, right? You talk about Leaf potentially warming up, and the thing is, I mean, they may have a chance at this. Okay, sure, good start. But it doesn't seem to be getting much better. And the thing is, you were mentioning, right, like maybe Leaf has an opportunity to warm up, to make something happen. The thing is, Fnatic don't give him a chance to warm up, right?
Yeah.
Like, it might be too late.
Yeah, and you know, it could be as simple as for Fnatic. Maybe for them, they're just like, okay, wait, guys, hang on. Cloud9's about to give us another duel. They don't even need a strat at this point.
Yeah, yep.
It just seems like for them, right after any sort of contact happens on whatever part of the map they're at, they just stop, they pause, they hold an off angle, and they're waiting for Cloud9 to come right back into their laps. And more often than not, that's exactly what's happening.
Yep, they do. Absolutely. Cloud9 here, lose the pistol. Forced to save. Well, not forced. I suppose they had the option to do otherwise, but choose to save wisely. And you imagine the difficult thing is that setup that we just saw right there, that Zeppa had to deal with the gravity well and then the nade and all that stuff. That's what allowed Durka to get that 2K in the previous round. So it isn't just about the map, right? Like Fnatic are chaining their utility well, they're playing around each other well, and it's just been too much for Cloud9 to handle.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see if Cloud9 are able to capitalize off Durka getting a little bit overzealous, overheating a bit. But Mystic, ooh, this re-aggression. Mitch, this angle, he does get taken out. So this should be Fnatic just solidifying this one.
Yeah. It'd be difficult for otherwise to happen. And so this is a pretty grim picture I'm about to paint.
Yeah.
But the outcome of this round, we look at it and go, okay, Fnatic should be rolling over Cloud9. Cloud9 have pistols, right? And Fnatic don't. They have the gun difference. But the thing is, they've had rifle rounds that have been cleaner than that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, where things have been on even footing, where they've been able to fight unfairly, if you will, and the outcome's been the same, or in some instances, even cleaner for Fnatic.
Exactly. And, you know, these eco rounds, they have a lot of different purposes. Sure, your main goal is to just get the spike down and maybe get some frags here and there, but it's an information game. You know, we talk about how important information is in this game. You kind of get an idea of what their defensive setup is. You kind of have an idea of what they're willing to fight for, what they're not willing to fight for. All of these kinds of cues kind of conditions you and prepares you for the rest of this second half. And for Cloud9, if that sort of eco, you know, and we always commend teams that are able to make those thrifty rounds scrappy, but this wasn't scrappy at all. It was very straightforward. It was very much in the favor of Fnatic.
Fnatic with the 6-round lead, seeing if they can roll this bonus all the way through. Cloud9 really, they kind of have to turn the tides here. That's an excellent start out from Leaf, but it's traded right back.
Oh, and the bird gets taken out as well. Leaf, he's got a good angle, but man, this Asher utility has been so on point for Fnatic. The Sucks are coming in right in the nick of time. And Mitch, although he's got the sight, maybe the spike will go. The rotation's kind of funky. It looks like Fnatic think this is an A hit, so maybe Cloud9 are able to make this post plant work a little bit. They're going to have a lot of map control to get forward in this post plant.
A bit lost in the sauce, as they say. Doma and Mystic, fortunately, are going to be able to bring rifles into this fight, so it's not just them dealing with Spectres and trying to make it happen. Fnatic have a chance at this thing, a very good chance at it, but Vanity, speaking of chances, has a chance to blow this up. You see him playing down low. Magnum on the tap. We see some of that breach utility coming out, but now they know where he is. They're going to have to push things towards Zeta. They can't leave him unchecked. Doma once again on the tap, as Zeta once again drops that util, continues to chain it through. Vanity gets the best of both. Mystic looking to work his way forward. And again, they get cleaned up. And he gets to defuse. 11-4 for Fnatic. What is this?
That was so, you know, and Cloud9 were doing a fantastic job.
They were?
They were buying time. They were layering that Zeta breach util to keep Fnatic off the spike. In fact, I thought, oh my god, Fnatic, they had to get half there. Otherwise, they're going to lose this round. But even still, with all things going against them, they're still able to defuse the spike and win it in the end. And you know, we talked about the smallest of margins in this third map so far. The fact that we even saw Zeppa popping his showstopper, not getting a kill, but leaving his opponent with 20 HP. And right after, Durka getting a kill and a half with his showstopper. The differences in both of these teams when the time comes, it just seems like Cloud9 is just kind of slipping out of their fingers here.
And on the flip side, Fnatic seem to be able to do no wrong.
Yes.
Right? Things are just clicking for them, and sometimes things, it do be that way sometimes.
It do be like that.
We'll see if Cloud9 can hopefully turn things around here.
Oh, look at the spot. Oh no!
Rolling Thunder coming out. No one's going to be home, but that should allow them to get onto the site anyway. But how much more do they invest in trying to clear it out? Yeah, you see a flash comes through. Vanity playing this cheeky little corner, playing this 50, and Dirk was wise to it. Not wise enough, though. Vanity cleans him up.
Good running gun. Oh, and that's huge for Vanity to take out Doma. You saw that the ultimate for breach was online. Beautiful shots coming through here for Cloud9, and it's just Mystic. 1 versus 3. He does take out Zeppa, but the spike is not planted for him, and Vanity is going to go ahead and clean that one up. And all things considered, man, that Cloud9, once again, they needed that. And it feels like we've been saying that a lot in this map.
Yes, it does. And like, is Vanity the spark? Like, is that it? He just gets a 3K there. Yeah, the first one was a bit, you know, whatever. But then swings around, gets a second, and finishes off with a third. Is this the spark? Is this what Cloud9 need to get back into this thing? Or even if that is the spark, like, is it too far gone? They're down 6 rounds here in the second half.
Yeah, hey, you never know. Lead by example, right? And certainly that's what Vanity is going to try to do here. For Fnatic, they have a bit of a wonky buy, not a lot invested into this one. As I said last round, though, Doma, he still got the breach ultimate. So if things go a little bit Fnatic's way, maybe they find a pick, maybe Cloud9 bite off a little bit more they can chew. That ultimate is going to come into play in this round.
See the Seekers dropped. Mystic CC'd up to high heaven. Whoa! Cloud9 finding some openings. They're able to make some things happen. Only 3 left on the side of Fnatic. And yes, 2 of them have rifles. But Mystic's just so weak. Doma has no armor at all.
Yeah, Spike is going to go down here for Zeta. Mitch just securing the round, hopefully. Dropping down those Killjoy Molotovs, making sure the post plant is bolstered. And Durkay, that's a nice shot.
Crispy, and that brings it down to a 3v2. This is not impossible by any means. They have the showstopper and the Rolling Thunder that you just mentioned. It may not have gone their way quite yet, but that... okay, never mind.
Well,
I take it back.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Beautiful round for Cloud9. Again, they absolutely needed that. Okay, well, I'm going to stop saying that for the rest of this game because they're going to need every single round that they can get from here on out. And that's a good start for these guys. 2 in a row. That's exactly what these guys needed, is those consecutive back-to-back rounds to kind of start building up their economy, building up those ultimates, finding a solid game plan that they can lean on to for the rest of the second half.
Was here. Yes, this should do.
Cloud9 here mulling over how they want to approach this next round. Looks like they want to go towards A. You see the Trailblazer in, pushing back Magnum. And then you've got this terrifying group of players of Cloud9 that are working their way in towards Satellite. And the thing is, it's just drawing attention. Leaf dies, but off of that, they're able to get onto the site, right? There was so much invested his way that they can kind of waltz in.
A. They are the utility for Fnatic. It's just been so painful for Cloud9. Vanity, he's got to be good for a kill, but he's in Astral form. Magnum might find the timing. He does. He's good for it. The Cypher ultimate goes down, and Mitch, although he finds one, his positioning, it's been up.
And the thing is, they don't have the spike either. They still have to get to the spike and plant it. So far, so good. You've got Boaster with the Judge. The lockdown's going to create some space. The thing is, do Fnatic go for it here? Do they give it up and then attempt to retake things? It seems like that's going to be the case. Once the lockdown extinguishes, there they can move forward.
Jeez.
And off of that, they still get the kill onto Mitch.
Yeah, that's good damage for Zeppa. The breach fault line does make things a lot more difficult, but Pain Shields goes out. Zeppa, he's got to have a clip here.
Oh yeah, he's got to be a gamer.
Ooh.
I like that. Cheeky little spot. They still know he's there, right? Zeppa drops down. One. Trying to spam through, but Doma's just going to stick the defuse. It doesn't matter. Fnatic gets to 12.
Oh, Doug, that hurts. That one hurts, especially because he even committed the ultimate at the end there. You know, and that's indecisive. That is the telltale signs of a losing team right there. Just the epitome of it, right? Because you saw that that's a desperate play, and it was way too late at that point. The spike was already done. Unfortunate for Cloud9, but for Fnatic, man, again, just a full controlled post plant.
Well, and how many times are we going to see, we talked about this utility setup earlier, but the gravity well into the nades have caused so many headaches for Cloud9. How many? Probably 6 kills at this point, just off of that little setup? That's gross.
It's the suck paint shell combo. These Fnatic guys know exactly when and where they want it. These choke points that Cloud9 are pushing into, they're getting stopped every time. It's been fantastic.
Cloud9, still early in the tournament. They find themselves down in a big way. Potentially looking at a trip down to the lower bracket. Ah, my goodness. Boaster's Judge is able to get one. They trade it out, though, just fine for now, as Cloud9 look to turn their attention towards B.
Yeah, Mitch doing everything he can to try to help Vanity get into the site here, get the spike down, and it will go down. Doma's, the Rolling Thunder.
Exactly, Potter. They have so much utility to work with. They have the Rolling Thunder. They have the Cosmic Divide. And there's that Rolling Thunder. What they don't have right now is a numbers advantage, but that could have potentially been the equalizer. Vanity gets dropped to 3v3. Well, that turned very quickly, as Doma finds himself outnumbered and outgunned. Cloud9 lived to fight at least one more round.
Yeah, that was a solid post plant, all things considered. I mean, you mentioned all the utility coming their way. It's unfortunate for Fnatic that Rolling Thunder didn't hit a single soul in the site, unfortunately. Cloud9 played those positions well. They knew that Fnatic had that available for them. So definitely did not make things easy, and they're able to convert another one. As we see Zeppa just kind of flying across the map there. That was Zeppa, right?
I believe so.
It was a raise.
So now, Cloud9, as we mentioned, they managed to avoid ending the map a bit early. This Fnatic group, you've got them, see they got them just on pistols, right? But off of that pistols, they dial something up, they take aggressive space away. I believe it was you who said earlier, right? Like in a situation like this, why not, right? Try to do something fun, try to make something happen. It's not working out, but I mean, at least you tried.
Yeah, give it that old college try.
Where do you think that saying comes from?
I'm not sure.
College try.
Yeah.
We'll Google it.
I think, you know, probably in college you
try things.
You try things. You
Last
experiment a
player
little.
standing.
You're young and dumb.
I guess.
Maybe that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Stay in school, kids. Stay in school. Fnatic. Things not looking good, at least for this round. Cloud9 should be able to clean this one up. And as we start to really kind of turn our attention over to the next round, we have Boaster's Viper's Pit. I don't know why that escaped me in that moment. And they have a couple of ultimates that are at least halfway there, right? So I say that to say, that shouldn't play a factor on the side of Fnatic. Meanwhile, Cloud9, they have 2 online right now. Leaf is 1 away from having the Jelly. So there's a possibility here for Cloud9 to make this a very close, very competitive end.
It certainly is, and that's a really good point, especially because, as we said, Cloud9 need every round they can get. And so the fact that these ultimates are coming online right now, it gives them that sort of playbook. It gives them those sorts of opportunities to combine these this utility to make themselves. It's just 4 more rounds, you know, just doable. 4 more rounds. Yep.
It is doable, but the thing is, they have to play perfect Valorant. They have to, and that's where you see Cloud9 calling a timeout. This very well. I want to keep an eye on Leaf. Do they set something up for Leaf to get the Seekers, right? Set up a play around an ult orb, and then is this a hard execute off of those 3 ultimates, right? Those are not that any ultimate is minor, but those are round-defining ultimates that can create space that you can play off of, that can really open things up.
Yes, exactly. And I'll be curious to see what Boaster does with the Viper's Pit. I'm not sure that placing it off the rip as the barriers go down is going to be the play. I think maybe he's going to wait to see what kind of contact comes forward and then drop it in the mid-round. But just deciding which site you're going to drop that is a huge decision in and of itself. So we'll see exactly what route Boaster goes. But yeah, I think we're going to see... We should see a Showstopper Breach ultimate combo into a site hit here.
Yeah, I think so. We'll see how things dial up. Again, Cloud9 in a timeout here. Fnatic up big, right? 12-8, looking to put Cloud9 away, looking to send them down to the lower bracket and give EU the first victory in this NA versus EU matchup during this tournament, while Cloud9 look to desperately hang on to anything that they could possibly find to potentially extend this, to potentially get it to overtime. But the truth is, Potter, they're a far cry from that at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
And it doesn't look like they're setting up anything for Leaf here.
It doesn't. It's disappointing, especially because Zeppa and Leaf both just need a couple of orbs to make some sort of combo happen. Cloud9 are not going to get a second chance at this, so it'll be interesting. And it's insane to think about how the differences of what teams prioritize what depending on what region they're from, right? It's just very interesting to debate the small nuances of that. But I mean, if this was Vision Strikers in this position, you could bet your ass they would be collecting those orbs, combining those sorts of ultimates together, and that is their priority. But for Cloud9, you could see that for them, it's much more about just that default game. The frags, the headshots, they prioritize that.
And that's gotten them this far.
Yeah.
Right? That got them out of North America. That got them into Map 3 against Fnatic. That got them to Champions, right? Like, it certainly has worked. But how much further can it take them? 15 seconds away from starting off the round. Cloud9, you see the spike on the lower southernmost area of the map. And they can approach things towards B. Again, you expect something fast, right? You expect something aggressive, potentially off of Zeta's Rolling Thunder. But even with this setup, right? Like, they're not playing the spike at all. Look at that. It's not even in anyone's hands. That's an excellent opener, though.
Beautiful shot for Zeta, and another one. Boaster, he wanted to get that trade. He wanted to equalize things at least a little bit, but he gets taken out as well. And beautiful start for Cloud9, full control.
I think it's a fake. They dropped the Cosmic Divide towards B, and they invested the flash from Leaf, not the Leaf from Flash, the flash from Leaf towards A to find out that there was nobody there. You also got Zeppa, who's staying around. The spike hasn't been picked up yet. The thing, though, is, Potter, did it take too long?
No, Cloud9 are just biding their time. The Mystic's positioning right here is, this is crazy.
Problematic.
Yeah, okay. Well, Leaf is just going to back it up. And yeah, this is one of those weird rounds where Fnatic look like they're on the back foot. They've cut noise, but somehow, some way, they've been coming out on top of these sorts of rounds. Magnum, he's good for the 1. He's good for the 2.
No way.
All of a sudden, it's a 3 versus 3, Doug.
Make that a 3v2 as Doma drops. Because it's still a doable situation, and the thing is, Magnum has spotted the spike. They're able to set up around here. Mystic, you see him hightailing and trying to get over here as quickly as he possibly can, as Magnum has to hold fast, not able to do so. Zeta gets 3 on the round. That should open up everything for Cloud9 as they get the spike. They're going to go back towards B, and Mystic's headed the wrong way.
Yeah, he's beelining it towards A. He took his chance. It was 1 and 2 shot. He makes the wrong one. That was so damn close. A valiant effort coming through here for Fnatic to make that 3 versus 5 look as close as it did. Cloud9 are gonna be another sigh of relief to be able to collect the spike in time and get it down. Oh man, what a round. What a round. And that's how fast things like a round like this can turn. We were just talking about it being a 5 versus 3. Things looking very dire for Fnatic, but the fact that, you know, this is kind of where they shine. They're able to slow things down. They're able to hold those off angles and fight their way back into the round. That's beautiful.
I'm curious to see Economy, because this was not as clean as Cloud9 would have liked, right? Like, they did drop 2. Now, fortunately, Leaf, Zeppa, and Zeta didn't lose any armor, so it's not like they're going to have to buy that up into the next round. But Vanity and Mitch are both going to have to buy full. Given how things look dollar-wise, that could be problematic.
It might be, but if they just win this next one, they'll be all in business, back in business, I should say. So we'll see exactly how many kills Fnatic are able to get to keep Cloud9's economy tight, but we're reaching that point, Doug. We talked about 4 more rounds and the fact that Cloud9, are they going to be able to do it? Well, we're now down to 3.
And Fnatic are on a light buy, too. Or a mixed buy, if you will. Mystic has a hero rifle, and that's it. It's just a lighter buy the rest of the way. See the ult orb getting handed over. Nice, quiet, leisurely stroll. Dangling across nothing on a rope.
I appreciate Leaf letting us have a closer look at that beautiful new knife. But yes, Fnatic, I don't mind this. You know, you mentioned the fact that they have a kind of a broken buy. But again, just this weird, slowed down, completely not fighting for specific things, playing this retake style. This is Fnatic's brand so far on day 1.
That Marshall putting in work. Mitch has the op. Should, in theory, be better, but that's Doma on the other side.
Poison's off.
Oh, another judge for Boaster. Oh my.
Saw him. He saw him. He saw him. The flash, the satchels, it's too much. Boaster drops. Magnum does as well.
Oh man, if those satchels and those flashes aren't there, Boaster has a fun time. There is a flank on the way with the Sheriff. Durkee is going to pick up a Phantom for himself. But this offing, you can see Zeppa, he's so tucked.
Ooh, he spots Vanity.
What a flash!
Zeppa showstopper. It's supposed to create space, but Durka just stands there. He's able to take Zeppa down with him. A 2v2. How have they gotten to this point? It's not quite over yet. They have the Rolling Thunder as well, and they may not need to invest it. Land the shots, guy. Zeta cleans it up. Cloud9 get another. They get to 10. Double digits here. Oh.
Let's do this. Doug, this is actually, I'm so glad you pointed out the economy and the fact that 2 players died earlier, because now that's going to come into play. Now, well, maybe not. Looking at the money, taking a second glance, never mind. I got a little bit ahead of myself, but that looked weird. That looked funky.
And they are like teetering on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like Vanity's down to 16. If this thing continues, right? Like it may not have as much of an impact in this round, but we do have to keep an eye on it. Because for Fnatic to find themselves at map point, at series point, every dollar counts.
Every dollar counts. Ain't that the truth? Durkee's been pretty aggressive towards this dish. I think this entire second half, actually. He's been trying to force kill the Sky Dog early on, and Cloud9, they've just kind of postured and made it look like they want dish control, but they cut noise and they're going to the other side.
They're going to the other side. They're going into potentially the Viper's Pit. Out from Boaster, you've got Durka's on the other side, so fortunate, and Magnum's on the other side as well. But working through a Viper's Pit is seldom easy, and they do have Zeta's Rolling Thunder, but I mean, is that going to be enough?
Yeah, I think Fnatic have a pretty good idea that this is a possibility. They're not going to play in those common sight.
Fake.
Yeah. Oh, Boaster. He's going to use his Viper's Pit as well as a response.
And this is the...
Magnum! Oh, Oh, he's only good for the one.
And he had a chance to crack that bad boy wide open. You see Durka wisely staying towards A, the showstopper, the satchel up top. Not going to find anything yet, but it did deal some splash damage. Mitchell's going to get the spike down. Zeta cleans Mystic up. And they do so. They manage to get control. So you still haven't dealt with Durka, though. Behind enemy lines.
Player standing.
And it's all left on to Durka. The lockdown comes out. Cloud9 not leaving any stone unturned, investing everything they possibly can. Durka's able to take care of Leaf, but he's going to try to stay alive, dash away, get out of the Killjoy ultimate, right into the warm, welcoming arms of Zeta as he gets to 3K. Cloud9 get to 11. Are we about to go to overtime?
I think it's a very high possibility because, you know, we've been talking about Cloud9's money, and we thought about maybe they might not have a full buy for the last round of this half, but Fnatic are in that same boat. We've got an Ares out. We've got a Bulldog, some Spectres. This is not the ideal scenario. The one caveat is Doma's ultimate on Breach. I feel like he's had that on his back for quite a few rounds now. But hopefully for Fnatic, we see a game plan around that ultimate. I think that's probably going to be what Fnatic need here. The aggression.
Oh, but Leaf's just able to take care of it. Yeah, he drops. I mean, one falls. Zeppa does, but that's a numbers win for Cloud9.
Yeah, it certainly is. B site, not a single defender left on it. Sure, Fnatic, they've got a pretty big flank coming up. I think Leaf, he's about to run into some action here.
Fnatic looking to desperately avoid overtime. Have the opportunity to do so.
Oh, no!
That hurts. Oh, that hurts. Leaf backs up, stays alive. Durka looking to push the matter. Fault line in his face, has to drop out, not able to stay alive. Fnatic are just down to 2, yeah, and it's a 2 with the ultimates. Make that 1. Doma, they're weak too, Potter. Both Mitch and Leaf are very weak. Vanity's the only healthy one, but they're playing so far off the site, Cloud9 are, that it's really good. It's almost impossible for them to work their way through. The Rolling Thunder, the Nano Swarm's going to push Doma off. He's not going to get the chance to do anything about it. I don't know that he's going to have enough time for it either. Leaf cleans it up. Map 3, Fracture, and overtime.
What a treat. What an absolute treat for us. You know, so many questions for everyone coming into this last series of the day. Fnatic versus Cloud9, EU versus NA. Fracture, who's going to be the one to win it? And I can't believe how dominant the first half has been. And we've just been seeing back and forth, both teams making these incredible comebacks in these maps. And it's been exhilarating.
Are you all enjoying the ride at home? Because this bad boy's not done yet. Buckle in, because we're going to dance a couple more times. Fnatic's going to start off on the attack, and there's just so much. I mean, you mentioned it, Potter, right? Like, both of these teams, like, and really, Cloud9, they look dead, right? Things did not look good on Fracture. We had almost essentially written them off, right? But they come back from what seemed like an impossible situation, 6 feet under, to get to this point.
And Vanity making the choke.
Yeah,
oh,
that's
boy.
vintage Vanity.
That's vintage, right, baby. There. That's vintage. I like the fact that both teams can really see each other and stare into each other's eyes across the stage here. That's definitely making things spicy. And man, Fnatic, that's 2 chances now, Doug. 2 chances in 2 maps with the dominant lead that Fnatic had in both of these maps, and the fact that they are looking like kind of like they're choking. They better have a good powwow here during this freeze time before this OT happens.
I mean, they gave up 6 rounds in a row.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they had the chance to put Cloud9 away on more than one occasion.
Yes.
And this is where we start to see, like, chemistry, right, experience. We've talked about the old Chaos roster, the core that are there, and how they've spent so much time playing together. How much of a difference is that in this situation?
Yeah, it's certainly, I mean, that's where that matters, right? Those small details, the synergy, the playmaking, though, that all comes off the back of that sort of experience and time and reps. Here it is, overtime. We're coming into it.
So you see the fault line comes out from Zeta, allowing some space for Mitch to swing around and drop the turret there to hold that angle. So they have good lockdown on A, but everything else is happening towards B. The spike making its way over. Durka's already taking care of 1. The Vanity on a great trade, and Zeta working his way forward as well. Oh no, that hurts. He drops.
Oh, this is huge for Fnatic. 3 versus 2. Zeppa, he's burning alive right now. repositions towards Jen here in the smoke. A bit of a whiff, but the trade comes through strong, and that's Fnatic. It seemed like they were everywhere. They were pinching from Arcade, they were pinching from A main, or from B main rather, and then even a flank there at the end in Canteen. Fnatic, again, the attack side slowing down, poking and prodding, gets them another round.
I love this, by the way. This is sick, right? Like the stage, second overtime. This is dope.
The different languages all across, man, incredible stuff.
Fnatic once again find themselves in a position to put Cloud9 away. But we've been here before. 6 rounds. They're going to get the 7th chance, and maybe, well, as the old saying goes, the 7th time is a charm. But that's yet to be seen.
I've never heard that old saying, Doug.
No? Oh, it's a
7th
classic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Happens all the time.
All right.
How do Cloud9 approach this attacking round? I mean, you can create some noise out of Vanity towards A. It seems like how they want to go about it, but the spike hasn't committed.
Yeah, Zeta is in no man's land right now. He's all by his lonesome. He's going to try to catch up with the rest of the squad. Maybe throw a piece of utility really late before he goes, but no, he's just going to hold on to it. And yeah, the rest of the Cloud9 guys, they're just meeting up. This is just going to be an A site hit, not even a pinch.
And I wonder at what point, you know, you've got Magnum's camera, you see it on the minimap. If he pulls it, he may get a chance at seeing a good bit of everything. Mitch looking to get the spike down. Should succeed. You've got Zeta, as you mentioned, yep, making sure there's nobody rotating around, cutting off that initial entry point, and then you've got Vanity showing up as well. This could be a very devastating crossfire as Vanity plays contact. Zeta swings out. That's exactly what happens. Mystics is the first to drop.
Ping and Pong, good synergy. Durka's able to find another leaf. He's got to win this fight versus Magnum. Otherwise, his 2 teammates are going to get flanked.
Oh, Durka. Durka goes all the way in. He's able to take care of Mitch. Doma does as well. Is this it? Leaf down to 1. It's just Leaf. Leaf swings out. He's not able to do it. Fnatic's going to get the defuse. The first round of this EU versus NA matchup goes in favor of the Europeans on their home ground as they send Cloud9 to the lower bracket.
I would be cheering with Fnatic fouls on that stage as well. The fact that they're able to convert that retake when Zeta was in the position that he was in, when he brought Vanity over to help him out to secure that flank and make sure they secure the round, that looked all but over.
Yeah.
That looked like that should have been Cloud9's round, but it feels like I've been saying that all series long. Oh my God, Boaster with the perfect banter. Just, Cloud9, they got bullied in there, Doug. They got bullied.
Oh, and I believe it was Ryan Central at the beginning who said Fracture was Fnatic's playground. They took their lunch money. They pushed them off the monkey bars.
Yeah.
They bullied them off the playground and said, this space is not yours. This is
Not
ours.
the monkey bars, Doug. Not the monkey bars.
The monkey bars, I know. I know. But I mean, this map, there were so many questions, right? Like, what are we going to see from Cloud9? Is it Cloud9? Is it Scrim9? I think we saw a bit of both.
Yeah.
Right? What were we going to see from Fnatic? Are they the Fnatic of old that were so terrifying, or were they going to be underwhelming?
Yeah.
I think in some instances we saw a bit of both as well. And then the last question, Fracture, that was a banger. That delivered.
Yes, absolutely. But you know, for Fnatic as well, another layer that I wasn't quite expecting was how much confidence they had in their game plan. You know, trusting your teammates this sort of time, I have to commend their boot camp for it. You know, the fact that these guys have been together for the past month, communicating with each other, really focusing on their teamwork. You absolutely saw that across all 3 maps in this entire series. Fnatic, anytime they looked like they were in a pickle, anytime they were down a man, they just stopped, they communicated with each other, they made sure each other had their backs, and then they hit a site all together. It seemed simple, but simple is always the most complex, right?
Yes, indeed, and it wasn't without heroics from Cloud9. We mentioned it right before overtime started, but Cloud9 looked down. They looked out, right? They were down 8-4. I believe it was worse at some point, maybe like 10-4 or something like that, right? Because they didn't win the pistol, and they brought it back to overtime. They brought us borderline of winning the series. They just kind of ran out of gas at the end, and you can see some of the disappointment on Vanity's face. And yes, the tournament's far from over from that for them, but they are taking an earlier trip to the lower bracket than they would have liked.
They certainly are. Both players just trading some fist bumps. Look at that little giggle. Flexing for us, and deservedly so. Doma, fantastic series. All the Sage walls on Icebox, the first map, thinking back on that. It's incredible, incredible showing here for Boaster and the boys.
Boy's got some moves, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And shake them hips. And for Cloud9, as we mentioned, you see some of the players, like they're still smiling too, understanding.
Of course.
Look, we got a good rep on Fracture, a live rep on Fracture out of the way, right? We know that this is a group of death, and it was highlighted as that at the beginning of the tournament. But they know what they're dealing with here, right? Like, yes, you still have to get through potentially Vision Strikers or Fnatic. You still have to deal with full send, so you're certainly not out of the woodworks yet, but it's not all doom and gloom.
Yeah, no, it certainly isn't for the Cloud9 guys. And you know, we talked about it at LCQ a couple weeks ago. The fact that when we watched Cloud9 the first 2 days, it was bad. It was bad when you think back. That's where the Scrim9 name came from, is the fact that Cloud9 were making mistakes left, right, and center, right? And they warmed up. They heated up as the tournament went on. So for the Cloud9 guys, they've been here before. They certainly should feel not good about this series, but at least they should have a good idea of what to do moving forward.
The American in me hurts to say this, but you EU fans out there are going to get a chance to relive everything yet again through the Prime Game post-match highlights. When we return, the desk, the interview, a little bit of everything. Don't go anywhere.
Near, far, wherever you are, we hope you are tuned in here for VCT Champions. It is Fnatic versus Cloud9, and they have taken the stage, gentlemen.
And he's had to give up the angle. Still okay for now. The Hunter's Fury. Leaf! Oh, Leaf, you bit off a bit more than you could chew. But the res comes out. Does Durka go aggressive? Oh, he tried going hot and heavy right into his lap, and Durka says not today.
Welcome back to VALORANT Champions Day 1, almost in the book. We have a little bit more to go as the games finish out. We do have to take a look back, especially at our last series, which honestly went the distance. And you know, Tom, you said predictions were super easy, but it was, I saw some sweat there. He needed more makeup.
I was never doubting it. Yeah, no, obviously our wonderful makeup team had to come by and clear all of the sweat off my face for that one. That was almost one of the biggest chokes I think we've ever seen, and in back-to-back maps.
Yeah, back-to-back chokes, yeah.
Ooh, that would have been rough. But no, I'm happy to see the Fnatic, especially on their attacking side. It was brought up by Potter that at least in Europe, in EMEA, we kind of expect this to be an attacking sided map. Maybe not to that extent, but it seemed like that was the case for both sides. Like, they were much, much stronger with their executions.
Yes.
And the reactions from the defense, it seemed to be aggression that was the only form of defense.
Yeah, but in two different ways, right? It's not like we saw the same cookie cutter XX on the attack, like Zeppa was the more prominent role, say, on the attacking side for Cloud9, whereas Fnatic, it was just those set plays, what they were known for. And the good thing about a map for Fracture for them is that set plays are often very telegraphed. You could still do the whole suck stun grenade and still be stacking over on the B side, right? It's those kind of situations where it's not easy to tell what Fnatic want to do, despite them using the same setups and utility that they usually do. Like, it's that subtlety that think helped them on their defense overall.
Absolutely, and I can't wait to hear from the players. We actually have Yinsu standing by with the victors. Here she is with Durka for a post-match interview. Verizon.
That's right, Riv. I've got Durka here with me. What an entertaining series, Durka. We went to all 3 maps. Congratulations on the victory. But I want to rewind real quick onto Split. You guys normally ban this map. This was traditionally your permaban. You only kind of play it in a best of 5. So why did you decide to leave it open today?
I think we wanted to try Split, play the map and see how it goes for us, because some maps didn't go well for us, so we tried Split and try how it goes. And today we see like some couple mistakes, but overall it's good.
Do you feel like you should have closed it out on Split and you let that slide a little bit?
Yeah, I think we lost a couple of rounds when I did some like stupid stuff and like someone just like pushed randomly and we just like lost a couple of rounds because of that, but I think it should be ours.
You did some insane stuff as well. It wasn't just stupid stuff. Now, also the KO pick on Doma, that's a bit of a surprise. Tell me why you guys are playing KO on that map.
Basically, our new coach Anders kind of started liking KO and finding new stuff for it, and we actually see true potential of it now, and we're like able to try it on maybe some maps, maybe like only Split, but just like trying stuff out.
Sorry, so I just got someone speaking in my ear. Sorry, I didn't hear that production. I'm very, very sorry. But carry on with the interview, Durka. Now, Fracture, you guys, people are kind of looking to you to maybe set the meta along with Vision Strikers the way that you did on Bind. Do you feel like that is what you guys are going to do? Do you think that other people are going to be watching your Fracture and copying some of your strats?
Yeah, I think in the EU already some people copied our strats or like some stuff from our playbook. And I'm really looking forward to play Vision Strikers on that, because they said something that they're the best on that map in the interviews. I'm looking forward to like 2-0 them, and especially on like Fracture.
Okay, I was gonna ask you what you were expecting from the Vision Strikers game, but when it comes to that team, it doesn't feel like they have that many weaknesses. You know, they've always been strong on an international level. What do you think their weaknesses are?
I don't know. I just think they're like default players are kind of bad. Like individually they're good and like their strats are good, so it's going to be exciting. They're kind of like us, but playing different comps, so it's going to be exciting.
And a last question. I don't know if you've seen all the murmurs and the pick'ems and the predictions. You know, Plat Chat, they had you losing today, and they also had you losing to 4cent in the lower bracket as well. Do you have a message for people who aren't believing in you guys right now, the doubters?
Yeah, so thank you guys for believing us, and sorry for breaking your pick'ems. We're going to break them more, especially in playoffs. It's going to be easy, so sorry.
Well, thank you so much, Durka. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to your game against Vision Strikers in a couple of days. That is all from us, but I'm going to pass this over to Riv to close out the show.
Yeah, that might have been a little bit of dirt thrown on my pick'ems there.
Didn't break my pick'ems, you know.
I mean, yeah,
never in doubt.
On the show at least, my Twitter ones are very different. So,
of course.
I do think that there's still a chance for Cloud9 to bounce back. Like, that's just what they did so well in LCQ. So, like I said before, I expect these two teams to maybe face off again. Like, depends on how Vision Strikers play overall. But another thing, I saw Arcane tweeting about like the devs reacting to watching Fracture. You've got Vision Strikers and Fnatic potentially playing Fracture. I think the devs get the afternoon off for that game. You need to sit back and let that one play out, I think, because that is going to be insane to watch if that map's in that pool.
It was already so neat to watch the way they played that. And as we do have to move forward, we just heard about Durka. If you think you heard enough about him, well, here he is again. Today's HyperX Reflex had to go to him. His operator was just so on point. Tom caught this one earlier. And it was just something to behold, obviously.
Yeah.
We all know op shots are difficult, but when you're only seeing the person for a fraction of a second, it's...
Well, I think we have to, I think if it was Joey as well on the replay team for getting this one, because I think the first time we saw something completely different. I was like, I don't know what he just did, but I know it was disgusting. So big shout out, of course, to our observers, the whole team back there, because that was so sick from Durka. And this is the thing, like, to move Doma to this more supportive role, like picking up different agents across every single map, it took a superstar of completely different level to anyone we'd actually seen, maybe even within EMEA at the time. And that was Durka, like moving over from a CIS squad, the sort of mix of the sort of Finn with the ice cool in his veins and the ridiculous CIS aim. The man is a monster, and to just do that and just be like, yep, okay, that's round over. I go now, do that again next round. It's just nuts.
Yeah, and just a difference in the fact that Durka using the op, Leaf didn't really. I liked what I saw from Leaf to an extent. Like, obviously there were halves where he had like 1 kill. Like, obviously that's not good at all from a player. But just being able to play on the Sky and have those moments, I think that's one of the reasons why we saw Cloud9 coming back into these series. But I am still a little bit concerned that Fnatic, we should be in bed by now. You know what I mean? Like, they should have cleaned this up 2-0, but the fact that it went to overtime is a testament to like Fnatic's mental to bring it back. But really, we shouldn't have gone there in the first place because it was such a dominant start. And as soon as Cloud9 get an inkling, they can run with it. Fnatic just need to have their mental side. That's the difference between getting out of this group and not.
I love the Sky point because it did seem to kind of take Leaf out of the position. He's usually in a fragging of whatnot. And you actually think about it, 2 seconds on Trailblazer, 6 seconds, sorry, other way around. 6 seconds for Trailblazer, 2 seconds for Guiding Light as it travels. You have to know how far that can go. You have to be refined in what positions you can use that in. And there are so many angles on Fracture. If you're using them too far back, you get to check the first 2. What good is that utility doing you? So we can see how it wasn't as refined.
Yeah, you got that freedom as well to not play Sky nowadays. Like, that's the thing that I enjoyed about Doma, because I think through home ground he just played the Sky. And he didn't play that at all today. 3 different agents and 3 different maps. 2 of which, the KO and the Breach, we'd never seen him play before. Ever. He put out a stellar performance. The fact that he was like beating Zeta in these kind of fights on Breach, like more kills, more assists. This guy's been a hyperbolic time champion. Like, I swear, like, because I think we were coming into this tournament going like, Doma's not good enough. Certainly when you compare him to Zeppa, that's night and day. I didn't expect it to be the other way around in this series.
Well, let's see what we got out of the unexpected brackets today as we take a look at the overall group bracket before we wrap up the day. Tomorrow we do have Gambit versus Team Secret. You'll see that coming out as your first match. Then we're into Sentinels versus Furia.
Yeah. I think we've kind of had our close matches today, I'll be honest with you. Like, I think our second and third match today were the ones I looked at and went, you know what, those are going to be pretty close. And, okay, sure, maybe Vikings were a little bit more dominant than I expected them to be, but going into some of the matches tomorrow, like, I think Gambit, clear favorite in their opening match. It would take something pretty ridiculous from Secret. Liquid as well, I think going into this tournament are flying high. And, of course, Sentinels versus Furia, I think that most people only see that going one way.
Yeah, I'm excited to see those 2 teams that we haven't seen, like Team Secret for one. Like, I don't expect them to beat Gambit, but I'm excited to see the feelers, and especially with seeing Crazy Raccoon Team Vikings, like, those 3 teams vying for a spot. Also, Furia, I liked what I saw from them in Last Chance Qualifiers. It's so untypically Brazilian that I wonder what that's going to be like in the group, especially if they go up against Crew at any point.
Those teams have to be hungry. They fought all year long to be getting here, and I can't wait to see what they have for tomorrow. That is going to do it for all of us here. Thank you so much for a terrific day 1, and we'll catch you tomorrow for more champions. Good night.
We talk about expectations and pressure, but there's pretty much one team that's expected to maybe even make the finals, and another one who are just here to show everybody what they can do.
My God, I feel like it's like an Olympics vibe. It's like, what's the first place on the podium? Yeah, you got to wear the gold. That's where we're at. We're getting world championships, baby.
One enemy remaining. Flawless. One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Into a bloodbath.
Whichever team comes out really strong in this opening game, that sets the tone.
versus Cloud9, and they have taken the stage, gentlemen.
And he's had to give up the angle. Still okay for now. The Hunter's Fury. Leaf! Oh, Leaf, you bit off a bit more than you could chew. But the rest comes out. Does Durka go aggressive?